Go, go, go.
Ready to take off. Oh my god. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll probably know I've been playing a lot of Star Citizen. Like, it's not even a game anymore. It's that place I go between those annoying bouts of reality. I've pretty much always been obsessed with space and flight and sci-fi, and the game just tickles my brain and hooks me in ways most games just don't. And this video is a collection of the little things that make this game different. Some unexpected and some just the sort of craziness you'd expect to emerge from a sandbox of this scale. But I want to sort of set the stage first. The thing is, Star Citizen is weird. And I don't mean the funding model, that's a whole other rabbit hole. I mean the way it's built. The developers have this obsession with physically representing everything. Stuff that in a normal game would just be some invisible systems underneath the hood, here they exist. Take elevators. In most games you push a button and bam, new floor. Here you push the button, then you wait. Because somewhere there's an actual little room sliding through the space station in real time to come and pick you up. City transport as well. You have to actually wait for trains, and then they physically move through the world, and it's pretty cool. I like it, even though it adds a kind of pointless additional time to getting around the place. For some reason it really grounds the world in a sense, like this place exists even when you're not looking at it. And then there's the way the game handles cargo as well. I don't think I've ever played another game that expects me to load a whole freaking spaceship with boxes one by one with a tractor beam. And tedious though that may seem, again it has this physical rigidity. I think normally you'd expect them to just teleport onto your ship or just be a number appearing on a list somewhere. But nah, Star Citizen ain't having none of that slosh, bro. You can even go whole warehouse tycoon and order your smaller boxes in bigger freight containers and use mechs and stuff to speed up the process. You know, if you get right into that and cargo hauling is your jam. There's a whole sort of industrial process to be unlocked there to elevate your Tetris skills. And although that's not technically for me, you can probably tell that it would very much hit those space trucker types right in the dopamine. And even then, once your cargo grid is maxed, you can push the limits of your ship and just start piling up boxes in pretty much every available space conceivable. And those boxes only have a limited chance of glitching into the void, blowing up your ship, or killing you for your greed. A nice risk versus reward. And this cargo game loop then ties up with other activities. You can become a salvager, for example, and either work alone or in a crew on a massive salvaging rig, finding wrecks and stripping them down into constituent parts for resale. You can even buy tow ships that tie in with that and have your own little salvage empire. You strip the hull off using a laser for one type of commodity, then you can break up the superstructure and absorb the pieces for another type of commodity. It's a reasonably relaxing way to spend some time. In groups you can even tie it in with some combat. You kill some bad guys, tow their wreck somewhere safe, strip their stuff, process it into cargo and do the resulting cargo runs. It's pretty cool how things start to chain up and tie together, keeping things varied and interesting. And mining's the same, although a little deeper and more nuanced. couple of specialised ships of various sizes, able to crack various masses of asteroids, each with a reasonably varied range of tools at their disposal. Some are unstable but powerful enough to crack bigger rocks, some are maybe safer but have some other downside. Then there's loads of modules you can use to offset some of those negatives, giving it a nice, complicated and varied experience. Some high value commodities, say, will be more volatile to extract. There's also vehicle mining, where you're roaming around looking for high value gems on the surfaces of moons and planets in a buggy or a mech. And then there's hand mining, where you're spelunking in caves looking for a nice cash grab. There's basically a whole career there. It will certainly only appeal to a certain portion of people, but that's what Star Citizen seems to be trying to accomplish here. It seems to be trying to please everyone. That may, in the end, be a horrifically misguided venture, but so far I'm seeing some fascinating steps in the right direction. You can run some security work or some mercenary work. That could be hunting things in ships or on foot, taking place either in atmosphere, on planet surfaces, or around moons at outposts or asteroid bases. You can pull up in FPS gear or roll out in ground vehicles with tanks and air-to-air defence. You can just carpet bomb the place if you wish. It's a sandbox basically. You can make it up as you go. You can do piracy or trade rare goods with other players. You can drive around being a little ambulance dude helping out injured citizens. You can even buy a big refueling ship and wait for the off chance of someone getting stuck out there in the black. It's weird and expansive and just not normal. It's not like any other game I've ever played. It has had and continues to have its issues though. With the company's focus shift towards playability and quality of life, things are running a lot better than they ever have. But this isn't a review, I'm just pointing out some cool things people outside the game might be unaware of, and people inside the game, like me, will likely have started taking for granted. And this video is going to be a somewhat meandering path, I'm afraid. Some cool sandbox stuff, and here and there some of the more core mundane aspects of the game that I think are cool, so I've decided to spam everyone else's face with. So let's start at the start. The one that still staggers me to this day is just the whole most basic planet to orbit thing. You start on a city, you get on a train, you call a ship at a hangar, and you take off, and just fly out to space, all under your own control. And there's no impedance, no loading, no forcing you into a tunnel while something loads up in the background. And besides how visually arresting that can be, it also has a weird psychological effect. There's a freedom being unlocked there that no other game has achieved. Some close ones, sure, your No Man's Sky and Elite, but they don't quite hit the same for various reasons. It feels different because it's a handcrafted metropolis you're leaving, teeming with NPCs and shops and social areas. For reference, I have sank over 2,000 hours into Elite as well, but this game gives me everything I was missing from the other two. They are better crafted and performant and stable, but lacking the sheer audacity to try and pull off the ultimate space gamer's fantasy. That is free, untethered transit between dense population centres, to outposts on moons, to bases and hollowed out asteroids, and all the extra vehicular activity you can ask for at any point along that journey. So, yes, you can ride bikes out of moving ships to infiltrate enemy bases, like in the intro. And if you see a space station from the ground, you can straight up just fly there under your own steam. But there's simpler little mechanics under the hood that can provide a devious amount of entertainment, like, for example, all the ships having self-destruct. Piracy is fairly sparse in the game, but it can crop up in some of the more lucrative trade routes. So, if you know you're about to get your proverbial potatoes, instead of just handing over the ship like a flaccid worm,
turn around.
You could go down with the ship, making sure the welcome mat warriors leave with nothing but a lingering sense of regret. If I can't have it, then there's no chance a space skid mark like this guy is getting it. But this particular ship has a very unique means of last resort. Oh, how the turntables. Yep, I died. It's also possible to use self-destruct in some rather close quarters situations, if the front-mounted laser Gatling for some reason isn't working out in your favour, that is. You get the idea though. The game allows you to fly off and explore the biodiversity of a cold but lush outer planet. Capture a bunch of space cows and subject them to scientific scrutiny.
No. Don't do that, buddy.
Turns out you can milk these space cows. Like, all of them. Even the male ones apparently. You don't get milk. Nah. You get eggs. And that's just unspeakably abhorrent for some reason I can't quite put my finger on. I can't help thinking that somehow they're just filled with chunky milk. Unfortunately, to access this bovine bounty, you have to respawn these guys in the afterlife. But instead of letting them go to waste, what I did then was I took a rescue operation for some poor guy who was stranded needing a taxi. And I just kept blessing him with high velocity beef. As you do. He didn't appreciate it for some reason though.
He's fucking raging.
See that? Ungrateful. When life gives you cow eggs, dude, you make mayonnaise. I'm sorry. I'll go and pay for my sins. Okay, dude, I want absolutely unmade. Like, make sure I don't come back this time. Yeah, that'll do it. All that is to say that on top of the basic functionality of the game, there's also this level of entertainment that is only limited by your imagination. And that's what really inspired me to make this video. You can blow up your friend's ship and leave them surrounded with lethal predatory carnivores.
Oh shit.
You can draw a massive penis on the side of your friend's luxury yacht. And yes, you can exit your seat and walk around your ship whilst it's still moving and fly another ship out of the back if you're getting attacked. Or for no apparent reason. But it's actually crazier than that. You can get a hover bike, right? And I mean, take note of the level of detail as we go, because graphically the game is superb. Let's load a gun in there for good measure, just in case. And then let's drive over here and load that into the back of a small car. Yeah, that's probably fine. And then let's drive that car onto the back of a small ship. You can then get in that ship and look around at the really nice interior, with its bed and kitchen and lovely little living space. And then you can fly that into your capital ship. I mean, I don't know if there's even a use case for that, but it means the extent to which you can pre-plan things is just massive. And the level of detail in both interior and exterior of all these ships is basically just aerospace erotica at this point. Thirst traps in metal form sculpted with oily loving hands. I mean, just look at the work that went into some of these ship interiors. From swimming pools and restaurants to massive churning salvage processors and extensive torpedo launching stations, and there's just a preposterous level of varying design language stretched across the manufacturers and professions. There's tons of military ships, some rugged and intimidating, and others sleek and viperous. And you can tell a lot of thought goes into the process of capturing the right vibe. Then you've got the industrial ships, massive blocks of purposeful majesty. Brutal, unrelenting depictions of utility and practicality. And they are just the best thing. Sinful, almost. And then there's just the scale. With all the interiors fully realised and mostly useful, some of these bigger ships have internal hangars, loading bays for vehicles and cargo, a med bay, a brig, a mess hall, on top of the usual stuff like a bridge, sleeping quarters, manable turrets and an engineering bay. They're mobile bases basically, and in battle, to get fully operating with all guns blazing, you'd be looking at needing about 8 to 12 people, give or take. And that's just a whole experience unto itself, with all the inevitable roleplay that implies. There's torpedoes on some of these that could level a small town. Even if you're not directly involved, just being near one of these battles is an awe-inspiring experience. Plus, they create a nice distraction for whatever sneaky, stealthy stuff you're currently trying to get away with. This is me trying to salvage dead ships from a war zone, he who dares, etc. And there's just a fantastic array of little touches that nicely brings all this in, like the downdraft from your ship as it hovers, or the spray on your windshield when flying over water or through clouds. The way your pistons move to accommodate your weight. Small things, sure, but they are just above and beyond what most people would expect when they first try out Scam Citizen for the first time. Anyway, that was a massive tangent. None of that is what this video is about. Like I said, meandering. This video is more about the game's mechanics itself. Don't get me wrong, I could go on, and there's a lot of intricacy there, and a lot of feelings and attachments to these ships and how you can customize them that I'm glossing over significantly. But I'm going to stop gushing now, as I'm starting to come off as terminally freaking geeked. Let's try and take on Combined Arms. Genuinely one of the game's most impressive features is the ability to tackle land, air and space. And that can have some absolutely ridiculous results. Something about getting fired upon from air whilst you're on foot just has an instant cinematography to it. And although you're mostly at the mercy of anything metal with wings when you're on foot, you're not entirely without recourse. And it all leads into strategy and planning. If you know there might be enemy air, you can always try and come better prepared.
I'm not dead, but...
And obviously that can work both ways. Infiltrating a ground structure isn't easy, even with air support. So you could try the scorched earth approach and just absolutely nuke the place.
Wow.
Or you can feel free to get creative. Self-destruct on.
Self-destruct protocol accepted.
Turn 90 degrees. Eject. yeah, that never quite panned out. But you get the idea. A nice surprise for them and a nice distraction for me, sometimes. And this only escalates the more people are involved, fighting over a single objective. The possibility of you being caught out or catching someone else out because of a strategy not even considered is very high. And it's that ability to manipulate and deceive, to do a flyby dropping bombs to get attention while your real objective is to mask a landing party. That's where the true potential lies in Star Citizen. And sure, other games can do this. Arma and stuff all have you juggling a debt of logistical baggage, but nothing else really does it in space and on this sort of scale. So let's move on. There's a real danger of me tarrying too long on any one of these points and labouring them to death. I'd like to talk about problem solving. Some of the best, most genuinely surprising aspects of the game has occurred to me as I've came across a particularly intractable situation. This little tractor beam thingy is so handy that I never go anywhere without one. The amount of times this thing has saved the day is uncountable at this point. Say your buddy gets downed in a gunfight, and you can't get to his body. You can just scorpion his ass into cover and get him sorted right up. Likewise, there's some ships that aren't really designed to transport other vehicles, but with a little help from our multi-tool friend here, we're all set. New gameplay unlocked. Say you come across a ship that's hovering above the ground, and you want to move it out of the way or steal stuff from inside it, or just get back to your own body inside. You can stack some boxes and try and climb the resulting Tower of Death. You can try and use another ship to gain access with a little help from gravity and luck. Or you can just get a buddy to knock you clean the fuck out, and then tractor your limp and useless carcass aboard, in the hope that you eventually wake up and haven't slipped into some sort of permanent coma. There are hundreds of examples like this, where you have to improvise solutions to sometimes minor problems or bugs. You get caught mid-loot and die without a helmet. You brought a medical ship so you can respawn nearby, but you realise you're in a vacuum and you never packed an extra suit and helmet. If you try and jump to the hatch, you don't have control because you need a suit for air propulsion. It's possible though. But you don't have a gun and get mauled to death by everyone's favourite quadrupedal bomb sniffer. So, we're back in the ship. But then you notice an NPC flying around. Kill that guy, scoop his body inside, strip him, and now we can finally complete the mission. Would it have been faster just to respawn at the station? Probably, but that's not the point. These little survival tests give the game so much more depth and satisfaction. You're doing some looting at a ground base and some dude blows up your ship, so you hide. Wait for the right moment and attempt to steal some other poor bugger's ship. I'll provide subtitles here because I'm with my son, and we're talking that full, colloquial Scottish dialect. Not this, believe it or not, full attempt at proper English I'm speaking right now.
There's a dude.
We just blasting that. He's making a run for it. He's getting on the ship.
I would run and hide if I were you.
He's in the canopy.
I would run and hide if I was you.
Damn, yeah, I'll just do it.
Wait. Maybe I'll just think there's one else. In terms of dead, how dead are you?
Incapacitated. 30 minutes to live.
Oh shit.
Wait, should I respawn it there, sir? Or...
Oh yeah, I just respawn. Yeah, I think he thinks there was only one else, dude. That is perfect. Right, hurry up.
I'm going as fast as I can, don't. Greatness, okay. I've respawned.
He's at your body. I'm in his ship in the pilot seat.
Now hold on a minute. See me he's at my body.
He's at your body.
I will see with that.
There you go. Get him. I'll keep his attention. You get behind him. Mollywop that fucker.
He's done.
Right. Grab what you need for your body, dude, and then get in.
My neutral green bars, my juice.
Oh, bro, please hurry.
I'm in. Oh, that was beautiful. I clipped that.
On another occasion, I had a mission to kill this sub-capital ship. My ship had already went to meet the great loading screen in the sky, but I noticed the other ship had stopped moving. 10 whole minutes of EVA later and some door jiggery pokery and I was in. Unfortunately, his escort wasn't as dumb as they look and blew this ship up as well. I thought that was a little on the vindictive side and they were taking my murder spree a bit too personally, but another 10 minutes of EVA later, I was on another ship. God fucking 10 minutes of EVA later and I had a fresh new salvage ship. Space is full of silver linings if you have the patience and determination, and this was all totally planned, 100%. It was either that or save up the 30 odd million I needed to buy that ship just to record the 15 seconds of salvage footage you've seen earlier in the vid. The content creation problems are very real, guys. Send all your space monies to Red's Resort in game, and yes, Steven might even dance for you. Earlier at this same outpost, these killer June dildos were being rather obtuse about my need for immediate exfiltration, and I had just burned through my last magazine. They spit high velocity pebbles at you and it's not only disrespectful, but highly inappropriate for polite combat amongst space fellows. Like teabagging, but with geology. I don't know. Nonetheless, they weren't prepared for trusty old multi-tool and some random space debris. The power of imagination shall not be curtailed, and these are just a few I've came up with for this video. There's more out there. I can smell them just on the periphery of my mind. In the comments, let me know the craziest business you've had to pull to get the job done. I am genuinely interested to know, and hopefully you're starting to see what the draw is here to this game. There's other things that deserve a mention as well. Racing in the game encapsulates the absolute pinnacle of skill in the game. There's loads of official tracks being built amongst planets, moons, asteroids and space stations, and a score of unofficial ones as well. There's even a cool indoor buggy track, and it's a ton of fun for just setting time trials or with friends.
Lost, bro.
I can't even begin to show you how insanely sick this looks when being flown by someone who actually knows what they are doing though. So I've stole some footage from someone who does, like say a world record holder. And as you can see, the skill ceiling is massive. Bro is literally coming into some of those corners backwards using nothing but the force and prayers to some hitherto unknown god. A big thank you to Splen for letting me showcase this here. To see more of this insanity, there is a link in the description. It's safe to say though, the flight in general within the game opens up a whole can of escapades as you'd expect. We have the low flying community as well, which is just a bunch of absolute sickos with a death wish pulling all kinds of manoeuvres close to the ground. That should probably just get them banned out of sheer awesomeness. And then there's just the general stunts you see now and again popping up on Reddit, with people threading the needle in ways that generally just shouldn't be possible. And we've not even mentioned the PvP side of things. Whole organisations dedicated to just being the best of the best. In fact, there are organisations for pretty much everything in the game. Industrial, trading, medical, anything you can think of basically, or some are just little groups of space dads bound together with nothing but creaky HOTAS setups and bad impulse control. You can find a link to that Discord in the description if you fancy it. Anyway, that freedom to be knocked out and abducted isn't exactly how a lot of people would like to spend their Saturday night. But until you've tried it, I'm just saying, if you're the guy on the good end of the gun, then this is a perfectly recognised business practice in certain solar systems. The pay's not great, but the screams echo beautifully off the rocks. Motherfucker stole my shit. Another cool thing about Star Citizen is how well it's integrated with third-party peripherals. Obviously none of this stuff is required to play the game, and there's only marginal advantages, but if you have some flight sticks or pedals or maybe even a wheel would work. That's all very well catered for here within the game. You can even add head tracking so you can look around inside your cockpit and target enemies, or just have a smidge more situational awareness. You can even use FOIP, which is like VoIP, but with your face. If you have a camera, it will transpose the movements your face makes onto your character. It's not perfect, but definitely adds something unique to the game that you don't see very often. There's also apps out there that will give you voice control over your ship, and even make it sound like you have several crew at your disposal if, you know, you're partial to the types of friends who don't really exist. Like me.
Missiles.
Weapons displaying.
Scanning mode.
That's done.
Deploy landing gear.
Deploying landing modules.
Turn on lights.
On.
Light launch.
Ascending to 30 meters. Retracting modules. Handing you the con.
And I guess it all ties up to adding a nice sense of deeper immersion than your average gaming experience. Anyway, lastly, the thing that this game does that nothing else can do is look this good. I know, that might sound like a bit of a cop-out, but after playing it for 5 years, I still think it's the most beautiful game I've ever seen. These planets, they all spin, changing the weather and lighting dynamically. Every single time I play this game, at some point, usually several points, during a play session, I will have to stop what I'm doing and go, fucking wow. And the game lends itself to that. If you can find nothing else to do and no gameplay appeals, it just doesn't matter. You're still just flying around these staggering settings, looking damn fine in your damn fine armour and your damn fine ship. But that could just be me. I hope you've enjoyed this look into the wonderful world of Star Citizen. If you're looking to get into this game, use one of these referral codes and your life will be better. It will also help my members towards an in-game reward and give you some extra starting credits as well. If you like this video, let us know with a like or subscribe, and please consider sharing this with everyone you know. Like, just to random people, anonymously, even, like just spam. Spam. Like your old granddad that does nothing but play crossword. Everybody. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again sometime. 07 guys.
Self-destruct protocol accepted.
Why am I falling? Oh dude, there's gravity here.